Hey there, welcome back to The Greater You. We're still working on our romantic relationship trait series. Let's take a look at trait number 9. So, as you can see here, trait number 9, groundedness versus materialism. Having been in the relationship industry for 25 years, you learn a lot as you observe different types of relationships. And this concept is huge. It is the concept of really you need people. We need to develop within ourselves, and we need people in our partnership that are not really super materialistic. And the opposite of that is this groundedness concept. To be grounded is, in this context, is to be able to be rooted to kind of the here and now, and also to be able to find joy in kind of the simple things. This materialism push, in especially in kind of the West and in industrialized, you know, world, is this, get stuff. There's a lot of research that our brains lie to us. You think that you're going to be happier when you get that next car or that bigger house. And the reality is that you get a small boost in happiness with that stuff, but it doesn't really last. So this trait is developing the ability to find joy in the moment. The underlying principle here is being grateful for the life that you have instead of wishing for the life you should have. Living in the present, being grateful for the things that we've been able to obtain. And also to really just not be too stuff focused. It's best to be focused on experiences, relationships, growth, principles, um, but not focused on your stuff so much. And I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't have our needs met, right? It's okay to have your own home and have your own office or whatever, have your own car. Clearly, we do recommend from the financial coaching side of things to move at the speed of cash, to quote good old Dave Ramsey. Um, and then around this materialism thing, it's all about, the minimalism movement that it's kind of lost its gusto. But there were some profound, I think, lessons from the minimalist movement, which was that people are happier with less, and people with more stuff generally have to babysit that stuff, and it becomes like a money sink, a time sink, an energy sink, an attention sink. So the bigger the house, the more you have to manage, right? Why is it that with the happiness project and some of these things that we've seen, the research around positive psychology and just happiness generally, why is it that we find that people in, that have much less physical means are happy, if not happier, than people who have a whole lot of stuff? And these are important questions to be thinking about. To be a truly grounded person is to live in a place of gratitude in the here and now, not always seeking for the there and then. People that are materialistically focused or materialism focused, they're looking for stuff to make them happy. And that it just doesn't last, guys. It doesn't have staying power. You want to be happy, take your extra stuff and go give it to someone. Sacrifice brings greater joy into people's lives than getting more stuff, right? I get it. I've been in the trap myself. There's certain things and items and stuff that my brain's like, hey, that'll be so cool if you get that or whatever. And you just have to say to your brain, thanks, brain, but you're lying to me right now. Um, Being grateful for the life you have rather than the one that you wish you could purchase is probably a better way to live. Now, certainly, it's fine to amass wealth or whatever you do. If you become one of those people that have kind of the Midas touch or whatever, and you're able to amass wealth, the counsel from the studies in happiness would be to make sure that you're being generous with that, be a wise steward of that. Sure, you had to work hard to get it. In most cases, people have to work extremely hard to make a significant amount of wealth, or you have to work very smart at least, but usually there's a lot of hard work in that too. And what we find in the happiness literature is if you're being generous with that, if you're finding ways to scholarship, kids in your neighborhood that are struggling to make ends meet with college, or other meaningful projects, putting your wealth to leverage for the benefit of other people will give you a much bigger boost in happiness than just sitting on a pile of millions of dollars in the bank and watching it get bigger and bigger. Because at the end of the day, you really can't take it with you, can you? So you might as well do some good with it. And that does boost a person's well-being. It makes the receiver happy and it makes the giver happy. And we've got plenty of research that has proven that over and over again, right? So when we're talking about romantic relationships, we want you to work on being grounded. Grounded meaning rooted. Think of a tree that, a tree in the forest is just happy to exist. And developing some of that mindset is really good for us human beings. Moving away from the materialistic pursuits, thinking that the next thing is going to make you happier, because it won't. That stuff fades so quickly. There's this thing in materialism or in the human brain that shows up with materialism called hedonistic adaptation, which we talk about in our coaching with people when appropriate. Hedonistic adaptation is the fact that the human brain is designed to adapt to whatever you've got going on. So if you feed the hedonistic self, meaning seeking pleasure by adding more stuff, more stuff, your brain will just adapt to it and the newness will wear off within weeks of getting that new, $100,000 car. Guess what? It's not really new after a month. It's definitely not new after a year. And so there's the trap, right? So the solutions to this, to make ourselves grounded, is to live more mindfully. When we're in the dating scene, you want to be, showing and really behaving in a way where you're grateful for the moment. And you want to seek someone who's going to be good at living a more simple life, certainly living within their means rather than constantly seeking the materialistic trap. So we'd love to hear your comments on this one. This is a very, very important trait, and it is absolutely needed, I think, in development of yourself and in your romantic relationships. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you again soon at the Greater You.